Yo, 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 what up, man? Chris, somebody checking in, man, back with the blog, man. Make sure that like button and subscribe button anyway, and I appreciate all the support, man. Happy weekend to everybody. Not sure when you'll get this blog, maybe Sunday or Monday or whatever, but salute to everybody. Like I said, this is a new channel. Please hit the subscribe button. Don't be confused by the logo. I know it looks just like the Chris Unbiased channel. This is the Chris Unbiased 2 channel for right now. I may rename it later. But for right now, well, we got about maybe 6,500 subs. Let's try to get the numbers up, man. But I do appreciate y'all watching the videos and fucking with the channel. Before I get into this blog, man, I do have a Mook update, man. Shout out to Mook. I know I did a blog the other day about Mook and the 200K and everything. I did the hats on top of hats. And said that was Mook capping. I was able to confirm that it does appear that Mook got that bread, bro. It does appear that Mook got that bread. So I stand corrected. You know what I'm saying? If I'm man enough to get on camera and joke and all this kind of stuff and say it's, you know, I don't think you got it or whatever, then I am man enough to say it does. I have stayed corrected. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy that the kind of money that was thrown around in battle rap at one time, we all know how things are now and the money is not where it used to be or whatever, but this just lets you know the kind of money that has been thrown around in battle rap, and a stark reminder of just how much money Briz has missed out on. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy that probably $500,000 Briz probably could have got in the last 5 years in battle rap. You know what I'm saying? Just you know, if you add all the eras, even right now where the money isn't right, but you still got TBL, and then it's so many people he hasn't battled. So it's kind of crazy that he left that much money on the table. But salute to Mook, man. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Mook on that. So I also was able to confirm that Mook did not get any contracts with T-Top's name on it. I know T-Top was in a space saying that you know, Mook has turned down a battle a couple times or whatever, and that a couple contracts came across Mook's desk. That really wasn't the case. I'm not saying that URL or anybody else may have not talked about a T-Top versus Mook battle, but to actually say that there was a contract with Mook's name on it that he just was like declining, found out that that wasn't the case either. And you know, sometimes leagues can kind of play with you. They can ask you to sign a deal, and then when you sign a deal, they can be like, oh, you know, you signed a deal, you know, 3 battle deal, you know what I'm saying? Might get Mook. You know what I'm saying? You know, take this person, and Mook. And it's just like, yeah, but it doesn't really happen that way. I think they did Danny like that. I think they were trying to give Danny Myers a Lux battle, and I think they might have just mentioned that, what's up with you and Lux? And then, as you see right now, him and Lux never battled. So I did get some clarification on that they said that I had spoke to Mook's manager, and he was saying that Mook never actually got a physical contract with T-Top's name on it for him to decline. So I just wanted to clear that up too. That was another thing in the space. I did ask him, do he think that Mook and T-Top is a battle that could go down? And he said he hasn't really talked to Mook about T-Top, but he said Mook don't duck no smoke, and that if T-Top is next up, then he's just next up. But obviously he wants to get the Briz battle out the way. I spoke to him about Surf. Like, yo, what's up with Surf, man? He said, hey, man, the money is there. He taking the battle. That's all he said. So we all know Surf gets out of jail, what, mid-February? So, hey, that's right around the corner. That's like about 40 days, bro. Like 40 days, Surf will be home. So I just wanted to put that out there and clear that up real quick. But let's get into this blog. TBL, man, what is going on, man? Have y'all canceled the Cassidy and Eazy battle? Have y'all canceled this battle right here? I know there's been probably not a lot of energy around this battle, obviously, anymore, and ain't anybody really doing no interviews, ain't nobody really talking about it. The twerk battle has happened, and this came and went. And I feel like this is getting swept under the rug, and I think that should not be happening, man. TBL needs to come out and say something about this battle. At least say it's canceled. If it's canceled, say it's canceled. Because y'all got a lot of stuff going on. Y'all really got an event next weekend. Do y'all realize TBL, they have this event right here. They have this Mardi Gras event going on. They also have the female tournament. So if you look, This is the Mardi Gras event right here. Going down in New Orleans, they doing this. And who's all on this card? Arsenal, Quest McCody, Chilla Jones, Nun, Saga, Chef Trez, Swamp, Capo Bravado, Official, A-Ward, B Magic, Foots, Danny Myers. A lot of names on this card. This card actually kind of fire. You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep it real with you. For a New Orleans card, this card is actually kind of fire. It's going down January 11th next week. And also, they have the female tournament. You know what I'm saying? Female tournament. We got, Hurricane Dew is on this joint. She's battling Eon. A whole lot of names on this tournament. I don't know how much they battle. They're maybe $10,000, $25,000, but they got two things that they're promoting. Let me get it right. Two things that they're promoting right here, right? No interviews, bro. There ain't no interviews. There ain't nobody talking about it. Ain't nobody doing nothing. And I feel like y'all are ducking and dodging things because of Cassidy and Eazy. Y'all know if y'all sit down in front of these cameras, Chilla Jones or somebody does an interview, he has to explain what is going on with Cassidy and Eazy. He don't got no answers. And because of that, promo for this is hurting because y'all are not running trailers. Y'all are not promoting this. Ain't no girls going up talking about it with nobody. In particular, nobody's really doing no interviews. Where the trailers at? Well, what's going on, man? What is going on, man? Now, I know some of y'all may not want to see the Cassidy and Eazy battle. Y'all might feel like it's 2026. That battle is kind of like, getting a little bit aged at this point, and maybe y'all tired of the back and forth drama, and maybe y'all might not be interested in the battle. I'm still interested in the battle, man. I feel like the first round, it was a lot said, it was a lot uncovered, and I want to see what Cassidy has to say to Eazy in rounds 2 and 3, and I want to see what Eazy got to say to Cassidy in rounds 2 and 3. And I feel like we've learned a lot since just that one round. You know what I'm saying? You got Eazy's brother. They saying that he's a rat or whatever, and then you got his other brother coming out and speaking. You got the Pottsville stuff. You got all this stuff going on. So I definitely want to hear what the rest of the battle is gonna be. And then you got this dude Champ, who I don't know a whole lot about. I know he was on Mav's Expert Opinion, but he's coming out talking about Mav and Rim got some type of relationship or has some type of relationship. And I'm not saying it's true or not, because sometimes you got to be very careful when it comes to like vindictive situations where like you talking about something and you really don't like the other person. You don't know if it's embellished or not, or you don't even know if he's clout chasing. But just because he could be clout chasing doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean it's wrong. And this is now the third time I've heard this story. So we heard it from Champ, we heard it from John, and we heard it from Cassidy.
Something. All y'all in the comments talking about Champ capping and all that. I don't need the cap. I don't need the cap. What y'all fail to realize is that I was around this nigga Math way more than any other co-host, damn near more than his mother and his children. I was around this dude. All right? When I pulled up to his crib in the Bronx to bring the jacket and I seen what I seen, at the end of the day, I'm a hood nigga. I know what it is. I done played around with plenty of women, all right, on the low that a lot of cats don't know about. And it's the same thing here. All right? She got a thing for battle rappers, yo. The lovey-dovey looking shit, the little hugging stuff that I seen, all right, when I said the closeness and all of that, I peeped that. All right? And then when I was told by him, yo, listen, give me a minute, and I went and sat in my car, and I looked for my car, I'm like, oh, they got in the whip. It's fucking 30 minutes past. What the fuck is going on? I'm out of here. Then the next day comes, and I'm like, yo, what was all of that about? You had me sitting waiting. You didn't even hit me back. And everybody know how Mav give it up on that end. Like, he have you waiting. Everything's on his time. He was like that with guests, with us as co-hosts, business meetings, and all of that. That's a fact. I don't need to cap about nothing. So when I seen him the next day, and I said, yo, what was all of that about? Yo, chill, kid, chill. Don't worry about all that. That right there says all it needs to say.
More of what you don't know. It's sad we gotta get to this. You're not the only battle rapper that had a time to reminisce. So I'll let you do the math.
How Remy leave Pat for a nigga broke his E? It wasn't adding up until Mav spoke to me, and then my expert opinion, Remy should see a OBG.
And when you look at Champ, John, and Cassidy, that neither one of them really got no ties together. So where are they getting this information? I don't know if it's true or not, but it does just add another layer to Cassidy's round. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people give a lot of credit to Cassidy's round and say, yo, he was spitting a lot of facts, or he had a lot of behind the scenes stuff, or stuff that, no, he was talking a lot about current events. He never really talked about Pottsville, to keep it real with you. I mean, he might have called him a Pottsville pigeon, but he didn't really dig into that angle. Kind of talked about other stuff. So with that being said, what else was he going to say? What else was Eazy gonna say? Eazy's like, yo, you know, you had protective custody when you was in jail. What else was Eazy gonna say? I keep it real. I still want to see the battle. I still want to see rounds 2 and 3. I'm not gonna front. You cannot sweep this under the rug if people paid their money. Now I realize I'm a very understanding guy, bro. Like I can understand a lot of things that go on. I know stuff is not perfect. I know a lot of, you know, league owners. I realize TBL was put in a very, very tough position. They're in a very tough position. And I'm going to explain to you what the position is. But at the same time, you have to communicate, man. You have to win the fans back over because people are obviously disappointed with the last event in terms of the Cassie and Eazy not happening. They're upset a little bit about the audio. You still haven't really dropped Twerk and Eazy as well. That's probably not going to be received well because of Twerk's performance and because the setting could have been a little bit better. A lot going on, man. The best thing you can do, own it. Own your bullshit, bro. The best thing you can do is own it and just deal with it, because if not, y'all are going to get thrown under the bus. Even by the battlers. The battlers that y'all are protecting right now, meaning Eazy and Cassidy, y'all are protecting them. The only people, you got Eazy saying one thing, Cassidy saying one thing. The only people that can clear up all of this and let us know what's really going on is TBL. And if y'all aren't talking, eventually Eazy gonna be, oh man, it's TBL, they not doing this, and Cassie not doing this. Then you got Cassie, oh, Eazy ain't doing this, and TBL ain't doing this. And everybody's gonna be blaming the other person, and the middle person is TBL is still gonna be blamed by the artist. So the same artists that y'all are protecting are going to eventually throw y'all under the bus if this never happens. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say that. Now, I'm a realist, man. I do realize TBL was put in a very tough position. They was put in a very tough position. They're new in battle rap. They do some things they're not really sure about in it. And they made some mistakes that they may not look like mistakes on the front end, but if it don't pan out the way you want it to pan out, it becomes mistakes. And let me just go back a little bit. They booked Eazy on a 2-battle deal. He had Twerk and he had Cassidy. I realized that you try to do stuff like that, lock them in a 2-battle deal. Maybe you can get them at a cheaper rate because you're guaranteeing 2 battles. I understand that. However, you don't really know how he's going to do against Twerk, but you're already booking him for Cassidy. So that's the problem with booking ahead. So that, you know, you sometimes try to eliminate doing that so much. They give Eazy a 2-battle deal. First battle was Twerk. Okay. Twerk is coming off of obviously the Loaded Lux battle, comes into this battle. Now, because you gave Eazy a 2-battle deal, then you have all of these situations where Eazy decides that he doesn't want Hustle and he doesn't want J2 on the card. And I understand it. You don't get along with J2. Remy don't get along with, you don't get along with J2. You don't get along with Hustle. Rem don't get along with Hustle. It could be some issues. And you pull them off the card. All right. Twerk gets mad about that. Behind the scenes, I was hearing Twerk didn't really like that. Twerk didn't like the fact that TBL was giving Eazy that kind of power. Obviously, he feels like he's the A-side, just like Eazy feels like he's the A-side. So, next thing you know, Twerk doesn't do the battle. Now, said he didn't do the battle because he was dealing with a lot. Old girl had passed away. Obviously, he had just lost the Lux. I thought it was kind of crazy that he was even taking Eazy, like basically in 14 days apart. You know what I'm saying? I think someone of Lux's caliber and Eazy's caliber, you need at least 30 days in between so you can prepare. But he took both those battles 14 days apart. So I feel like that was already a bad look for him anyway. He doesn't do the battle. The thing about power, a lot of battlers have a lot of ego. And there's a saying, you give a person an inch and they take a mile. There's a saying in that. So TBL allows Eazy to pull Hustle and J2 off the card. And at first, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. Hustle is Hustle. J2 is J2. They both said some crazy stuff. The energy won't be good. I get it. You pull them off the card. It doesn't seem like a super big deal at first. But once you exert a little bit of power and people can see what they can get away with, you can exert more of that. And Eazy knew that no matter what TBL said about the Twerk situation, they had already paid him a deposit for Twerk and also a deposit for Cassidy. And because of that, I got power. All I got to do is say, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe with BBL Hustle in the building. And because of that, I'm not breaching my contract, because your contract is supposed to provide a safe environment, and I don't feel safe with her in the building or J2 in the building. They pull it. TBL pulls them off the card. Fast forward, the battle doesn't happen with Twerk. You go into the Cassidy battle. Eazy is also, they do the face off, the promo, all this Pottsville stuff come out, everything's coming out or whatever, and then, Cassidy is turning up on the promo. And obviously Cassidy drops, pictures of Zan beat up or whatever the case may be, saying that she's saying it came from Eazy, all this kind of stuff. Eazy decides he's gonna ban Zan, Muslim Poppy, Mook, Tex, probably some other people. Polo said he couldn't get in if he had came. I'm pretty sure there was definitely people that were not allowed in. Now, this is where I say you give a person an inch and they take a mile, because he was able to get Hustle and J2 off the card. He feels like, I can pull the same weight. I can stop Mook from coming in. I can stop Muslim Poppy from coming in. I can stop Zan from coming in, Hurricane Dew from coming in, Polo from coming in, Tech from coming in, everything. I can stop these people from coming in, because power. Everybody knows when you got power. So Cassidy was bothered by some people not being able to get into the building and all this kind of stuff. They try to do the battle, and the battle didn't necessarily work out or whatever. There was a bunch of finger pointing. There was a bunch of, don't spit on me and get out my face, all this kind of stuff. Cassidy extended an arm. They don't do the battle. Eazy walks out. Now, in fairness to Cassidy and Eazy, it does look like TBL was pressed for time. You know what I'm saying? I think they didn't have the venue but for so long. I think that's why Cassidy and Eazy skipped Cortez and Reed and went ahead and battled, because they didn't have the time. That's not on Eazy and that's not on Cassidy. That's really TBL's fault. And had they not had so many audio issues, they wouldn't have had to go and buy mics and all this kind of stuff. All that stuff was killing a lot of their time. So Eazy ends up walking out. Cassidy, I guess they decide to go to another location. They're on the corner or whatever. Eazy's in the truck. Cassie's in the truck. They waiting to battle. Next thing you know, the footage shows Eazy driving off. Cassie feels some type of way. So what started as Eazy having or exerting some of his power seems to have now turned into Cassidy exerting some of his power, because now he wants to do the battle in Atlanta when it's supposed to be a Philly thing. You know what I'm saying? And Eazy saying that he can do the battle, and Cassie saying he can do the battle, and Eazy saying he's ready, and Cassie saying he's ready. And now Cassidy, because he feels like he's mad that Eazy was not allowing people to get in the building at first, now he's like, no, I want to play by my rules, and I want to start dictating shit. We're not doing shit on Eazy terms no more. So now what started out as maybe Eazy exerting some power is now Cassidy is exerting some power. And he wants to do the battle in Atlanta. I don't know if they're going to do the battle in Atlanta. I still feel like, it would be dope if the battle was done in Philly. But it looks like even if they did the battle, it would probably be a small event, a private event. And if that's the case, it don't matter where it is, because all it's going to be is in a room anyway and without a crowd. But if the battle was done in Atlanta, then I'm also hearing that Cassie may want all his money up front, all this kind of stuff, which is something that TBL definitely should not do. Why the fuck should they be paying Cassie all his money up front? I would not be doing that. So add all that up. You got one person who exerted power in the beginning, and you got another person trying to exert power on the end. And they like butting heads on a bunch of ego. And TBL, who just wants to get the battle done, I'm pretty sure TBL ain't trying to work with none of these niggas no more, Eazy or Cassie, to keep it real. They may never say it publicly, but I don't know. They probably so disgusted with the way this turned out and the losses that they took and all that, and the chargeback people have done on Rap Grid and all that kind of stuff, that they probably is sick of this situation. However, they allowed a lot of this stuff. they could have nipped a lot of this stuff in the bud with, first of all, only booking people one battle at a time. They could have nipped it. And even if they didn't want to do that, it's like, yo, I'll give you a little bit of power. I'm not giving you all the power. I might concede a little bit of stuff. I'm not conceding everything. And that's probably just how I would have done it, because they're like so green, and I feel like they're just trying to appease people. So in the beginning, they trying to obviously appease Eazy with the Hustle and J2, and with the Tex, J Moore, Mook, all them not getting in, to where Cassie gets pissed off, and now they're trying to appease Cassidy. Like, oh, well, maybe we can do the battle in Atlanta and come down to Atlanta, do all this. Now, they don't want to pay him all his money up front. I don't really get where he wants all his money. That shit crazy to me. But TBL just want to do the battle. And ultimately, what this show me, dog, is they just don't have no respect for these niggas. They just don't have no respect, because you cannot tell me. We can talk a lot of shit about URL. Most of the times they complete the objective though. And I feel like whether it was URL or whether it was ARP and RBE, I feel like these battles would have got done. And all of this person can't come in, that person can't come in, this is what's going on, that was going on. A lot of that shit would have got nipped in the bud, and more motherfuckers would have been like, yo, man the fuck up and do the battle. Man the hell up and do the battle. And I feel like the respect that Eazy, I'm just saying, if he was still on URL, the respect that Eazy would have showed Smack if he was still on URL, and the respect that Cassie would have showed Smack, and if it was on RBE, the respect that Eazy would have showed ARP and Cassie would have showed ARP, it would have got done off the respect. Because if Cassie says, like what I'm hearing, I'm not doing a battle unless I get all my money, then you really trying to just chump niggas off. You really just, it's like you trying niggas now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just gonna try you. Like, yeah, run me my bread before we do the battle. It's like, that's some shit you wouldn't even run by a Smack or ARP. It becomes a whole respect thing where it's like, nah, y'all niggas so green, I'm just finna start trying you niggas. And I feel like a lot of this stuff wouldn't even been the case. The respect level that another league owner with some clout, even an organic, you know what I'm saying? And I know they ain't never even battled on that platform, but even an organic, a Smack, a Beasley, or an ARP, the objective would be completed now, bro. All this back and forth, this communication, all this. First of all, the communication would have been better. Second of all, niggas would have got niggas on the phone and made that shit happen. And the respect level niggas would have had, they would have done the battle. But right now, it's too much finger pointing going on. You know, even in Cassie's last interview, you know, he's starting to throw TBL under the bus, saying that they didn't do this, saying they mics messed up and all this kind of stuff. Cassidy don't look good in this situation either. Bro, you got 3 battles that you basically got some type of deposit for and no battles. And everyone ain't your fault, but let's just keep it real. Freeway, John, and Eazy. You got 3 battles, 3 bookings, and 0 battles.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. A win is a win.
That's just not a good look. It's just not a good look, bro. Just from that psyche. Like, for someone that be like, yo, I want to put on for the culture and put on for the culture. Part of putting on for the culture is fixing that narrative. 3 bookings and no battles. It's fixing that narrative as well. You know what I'm saying? Same with Eazy. Eazy can have an ego, but I do think at this point, maybe Eazy might be a little bit more on the negotiating, willing to negotiate more. You know what I'm saying? I feel like maybe right at this stage, maybe it's more on Cassidy's ego. Whereas before, it might have been a little bit more on Eazy's ego. And I think right now, it's just like a tug of war between, like, no. And it's all this tug of war when they should just do the battle. And I'm going to tell you right now, if TBL had the respect, the battle would get done. No, the only way you can even come to a nigga and tell him to pay me all my bread before we do the battle, you gotta really be treating them like they green. Like, I'm just gonna say whatever because it's Chilla. Or I'm gonna say whatever because it's Kenny. Now, you're not gonna go to Smack, tell Smack, I ain't doing the battle. You give me all my money. I ain't doing it. You're not even talking to Smack like that, bro. You're not even doing that. And I also don't think Eazy would have been going to Smack and them and telling them that he don't want such and such on the card. I don't think that's the case either. Hustle is first lady of URL, bro. If Eazy was on URL and he was battling and him and Hustle fell out, he would not be going to Smack talking about, I'm not battling as long as Hustle on the card. Hustle would have stayed on that card because it's URL. So sometimes you just know who you can try and what you can try. And I think in 2026, what TBL has to do is they got to start establishing their respect. And part of establishing their respect is stop protecting people, bro. If Eazy is BSing, call him out. If Cassidy is BSing, call him out. You don't got to protect them to play nice and all this, because people be trying you, bro. URL tried the doggone block the Av and Twerk battle and all this kind of stuff and acting like they want to do the battle. A year later, they still ain't booked the battle. Niggas will try you. And in 2026, if you're going to be around in battle rap, you don't want people to treat TBL the same way we hear them talking about Frank. Oh, these niggas just a lick. They just a this, they just a that. They just spending money, but you know, we can do this, this, and this. And maybe y'all just need to book one battle at a time. Not 9 and 10 battles, not 11 and 12, and not battle deals and booking niggas ahead. Book one battle at a time, because niggas really playing with y'all right now. And if what y'all gotta do, y'all gotta speak on it, bro. Y'all gotta speak. Y'all got people right now that paid for Eazy and Cassidy, pay whatever it is on pay-per-view, VOD or whatever pay-per-view, and they don't have the battle. And you just can't be like, oh, well, I ain't really saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that. Like, you can't do that when there's money out on the battle. There's money paid to the battlers. There's money that the consumers paid to see the battle. And with all that being said, there's always an obligation to update the fans on what's going on. Just my thoughts. I'll let your boy.